Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Shanghai. I'm back for another Eurovision reaction video. Ukraine have won Eurovision 2022. I'm going to give you all my thoughts about it. So let's kiki. As always, I will leave timestamps in the time bar, which you can also find in the description. I'll break it up into different segments as I talk about different things. So in this video, I'm going to be talking all about Ukraine winning and what this could mean for them and also going forward. I am going to do separate videos breaking down all the results of the final in terms of all the numbers. Plus I'm going to do analysis of the first and second semi-finals, which were absolutely really controversial. So definitely keep an eye out for those videos. They are coming up soon. But today I'm just going to be speaking about Ukraine winning. In case you don't know, last night Ukraine won Eurovision 2022 with Stefania, a song by Kalush Orchestra. They got 439 points in the Televote, which is the highest Televote score ever, which I don't think will ever be beaten unless we end up having 50 countries in Europe. And they came fourth in the jury with 192 points, a total of 631, which is almost the biggest ever. I think Portugal had the highest ever. So this is the third time that Ukraine have won. They won 2004 with Wild Dances, and they also won in 2016 with Jamala 1944. I think Ukraine are coming to take that title off Ireland. Ireland have 7. I think we got a little bit lucky. I don't know if we totally deserve to have that crown. I actually think Ukraine are probably one of the strongest country in Eurovision. So in case you haven't watched my channel before, Ukraine are probably my favorite country in Eurovision. They're number one in my overall rankings since 2008. I think they're absolutely utterly magical. They bring a lot, they take it very seriously. They always send something with a lot of depth, cultural depth, well written, with a really fantastic artist. So I'm very happy for them. There is going to be a lot of controversy about this. I've already seen quite a lot of stuff online and also people leaving me comments as well. So I thought best just like talk about it, have an open dialogue as opposed to just like pretending it doesn't exist. So there is a lot of people saying that this is quite a political victory. This Televote is a huge show of solidarity for Ukraine, which is a really lovely gesture. Ukraine is part of Europe. It is currently being invaded. I don't know how else Europeans can react and show support for one of our own countries, which is being absolutely and utterly demolished right now. So I don't know what the alternative to not showing support is. I don't know. I think it would be quite weird if like one of the countries in Europe is getting absolutely annihilated and we just kind of like, oh yeah, that doesn't matter, we're just going to give you no points. There is this like big discourse of like, oh, Eurovision is so political. I disagree that it's all political. There is some political. To completely dissociate politics from culture and society is impossible, because politics is totally ingrained into every single aspect of our nationalities and our culture and personality. It's a big part of our lives. So to completely separate them two is just impossible. A lot of Europeans are incredibly moved and upset by what's happening to Ukraine right now. Watching them being absolutely destroyed, seeing all these people are having to be separated from their families and go to other countries in Europe is really devastating and upsetting. A lot of us want to show any form of solidarity or support that we can. If that takes the form of giving some points in a Eurovision Televote, you can't dissociate human nature from Eurovision. It's just not possible. I don't think that Ukraine winning Eurovision solves any of their problems whatsoever, of course, but if this makes a lot of Ukrainian people feel that there's lots of Europeans who love them and are thinking of them and are supporting them, and even this very small gesture gives them some sort of encouragement or heart or a little bit more feeling loved, well then I think it's a brilliant thing. So in any case, the results cannot be changed. They're set in stone. Why not just enjoy this moment, enjoy the fact that so many people have sent out this really nice, loving message to Ukrainians of support. This has been such a nice gesture. Why not look at this from a perspective we should be proud of what Europeans have done to show love and support for other Europeans, instead of like being bitter and nitpicking over this wasn't fair and that wasn't fair. It's not going to change anything, and it just looks really negative. Nothing's going to come from it, and it's going to make some Ukrainians feel attacked. Like I said, this has been a nice hopefully this has been a nice distraction for them. They've taken a lot of like happiness from seeing the love they've received, and that puts seeing all these like nasty comments saying it wasn't deserved really kind of spoils that a little bit, and unnecessarily as well, because it's not going to change the results. So what does it actually achieve? It doesn't achieve anything. I think it's a really nice gesture from the people of Europe. Now, they didn't get 12s from everybody. Actually, funny enough, a lot of the former Yugoslav countries gave their 12s to Constracta, which is not massively surprising, as that song has really gone viral. Incorporate Sound has gone massively viral in the region. And then Serbia didn't give their 12. Romania and Serbia actually gave their 12s to Moldova. That's not too surprising, as Romania always give their 12s to Moldova because obviously they have such a massively close connection. In terms of this whole political discourse that's going through, it made me think a little bit of a little bit about Conchita in 2014. Now that is personally my favorite ever Eurovision victory. That really is like one of my happiest Eurovision memories, is seeing this like huge amount of acceptance for this person who was kind of like crossing boundary lines and pushing the limits of how we perceive people being able to express themselves freely in terms of gender, and also this representation for the LGBT plus community. Look, did Conchita have the best song in 2014? No, she didn't. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. That wasn't the best song. It was a mix of the song with also this really, really strong cultural message, but you could say that there was a little bit of a political message there as well. Culture and politics are really entwined. So yeah, we've had politics permeating the Eurovision before. Although Rise Like a Phoenix, I don't think it was a winning song in its own right, it was still a great song, and Stefania is a great song as well. I really love Stefania. It's in my top 10 this year. So I do think a large element of this winning was also the fact that they sold something that was really cultural, and it was this really interesting fusion of kind of like a more traditional culture in these patterns that they sent, and the folk music playing I always forget the name of it, Topilka or Tumulka, the flute that begins with the letter T. So the fusion of that with also this kind of rap kind of showed up these two aspects of Ukrainian culture in a really, really, really great way. And I think that was a really great, evocative feeling for a lot of people, because they're looking at Ukraine in this light of, this is a rich culture, these are people like us who are being really destroyed right now. So I think that if Ukraine had sent something that was quite dire, like Razem Nash Bahato, which was their song in 2005, or Time from O Torvald, the two songs that they sent after they won when they basically didn't want to win again, I don't think it would have had the same result. So I think it's a testament to the fact they said something that was a good song, plus it was something that's always like, that was also like very culturally rich. So that really made that like real connection, which is what Eurovision is about, is making these connections through throwing off your culture and seeing that there's similarities, but there's also like uniquenesses which are very interesting. I think of Alina Pashagon, I think she probably also would have won as well, because she also had a good song with a really, really strong, beautiful cultural element to it. I do think this is hopefully a once in a lifetime event. Like really, I don't think we've seen an invasion or war in Europe of this scale in many, many years. Definitely not in my lifetime. We did have an invasion of Georgia in 2008-9, but that just kind of seemed to not really get much attention. This has been the biggest thing that we've seen, and hopefully this is a once in a lifetime experience, and when the war is finished, this will never ever happen again. So it's not like we're going to be having wars every year in Europe. This is hopefully a really, really rare event. Obviously all wishing for a really quick resolution. Keep in mind that a lot of Ukrainians watch the show from bunkers, in hiding. Many people couldn't watch it because they don't have electricity, water, food. So we need to have a little bit of context here of the kind of privileged position that we're all sitting in, that we aren't sitting in a war-torn country. We don't exactly know how it feels. So yeah, we do need a little bit of perspective when we're kind of talking about all this. I've also seen a lot of comments online saying that this kind of invalidates the results because the winner is it's too political. For me personally, Eurovision is not just about the winner. This is like a 6-month thing that I do. In case you're kind of new to Eurovision, Eurovision season starts in November, even before that, because people will be talking about who's going to host, which I'm going to cover at the end of this video. But yeah, like for me, Eurovision, obviously the scores is like a really fun, exciting bit, and seeing all these kind of people that we fall in love with getting points and being celebrated, and their beautiful costumes and the stagings and everything. But it's more than that. It is the music that we get. I've got over 80, 90 new songs this year. Meeting all the artists. I've been really touched this year by Constracta and by Sam Ryder, meeting all these lovely people, meeting people through the channel. I've met lots of friends from here and also on Twitter. And also just even like on the live chat last night, we had people from Canada, Philippines, we had a few Aussies, people from all over Europe, like literally almost every single country in Europe. We had a lot of people. I saw at one point, whether it was in the live stream, the semi-finals, I saw people coming in from all different countries, really, really lovely coming together. And that's really the point of the contest, is this spirit of coming together. So to say that just because one country won with a big televote push, a show of solidarity, and then the contest is pointless because that is really, really missing the point. It is all these other fabulous elements. That is just like the last moment of it. But we have 5 months of drama and excitement and bonding and all these other things. So the competition is much, much bigger than just getting televote announcements. Hopefully it's not gauche to talk about this right now, but I think a lot of people are asking where will it be hosted next year. I would assume that when Ukraine were discussing with the EBU to come this year, because it was confirmed quite late, I think they would have had conversations in closed doors and said, look, the EBU said, what are we going to do if you guys win? Because Stefania, keep in mind, it was third in the odds before the war even started, so it was already a popular song. So the EBU knew it was a good song and it was possible that it could win, so they would have had to have discussions and said, okay guys, what do we do? Even if the war was to stop today, which would be absolutely amazing, it's really, Ukraine has been decimated. Like their infrastructure, housing, manufacturing, it will take years for Europe to rebuild Ukraine, and I hope that's something that we all do together and we come and we help Ukraine to rebuild, but it is going to take a long time. So I think everyone realizes that it cannot happen in Ukraine. I don't think it will be considered acceptable when they're trying to rebuild and then they have this huge cost of hosting on top of that. I don't think that's appropriate. We don't know officially what they agreed, but I would guess it would be the UK or Germany. In 2017, when Ukraine were having problems producing the show, they were a little bit behind the schedule. Germany came in, so it was like some Swedish producers, but with a German kind of infrastructure, came in and helped them complete the stage in time, and that ended up being a really, really great show. So there has been a precedent for Germany coming in to help in terms of logistics. That would make sense to me, more than the UK, but considering that Germany came last and UK came second, it really makes sense for the UK to host, like quite a lot of sense. Seeing that they were the runner-up, that seems like a logical rule. If the winner can host, the runner-up would be an obvious one. Plus, I would have guessed before, those two are the most obvious ones who can help out in terms of having a big media. Obviously, the BBC are very capable of hosting. I'm not saying that they would do an amazing job. You know, I'm a little bit critical of the BBC in Eurovision sometimes, but they would definitely be able to put on a show. I would love to see, for example, if they had like a Ukrainian host with a British host who had like really cool chemistry, integrating the two cultures together. That would be a really fantastic thing. I would imagine that the host city would be Manchester. Birmingham hosted in 1998 when UK won last time, in 1997 with Love Shine a Light. So I don't think they would host back to back in Birmingham. I also don't think that they would host in London, because the BBC is making a big push to be decentralized. So for example, this year their jury points were announced from Salford, which is up north. They're trying to integrate the north of the UK a little bit more. Manchester is not massively north, but it's more north than London, and it's a different city from London. So they definitely want to expand the cultural significance of other cities in the UK. Manchester makes sense. They are building a new arena there, I've been told, which has a capacity of 23,500. Again, that's what someone told me in the chat last night. Bradley told me that last night. So hopefully Bradley's given me correct information. But yeah, that would make the most sense to me. If the UK weren't willing to do it or weren't able to do it, then I think Germany would make the most sense, probably Berlin, but last time Germany hosted, it was in Dusseldorf. Like, obviously, we do not need to worry about that, but you know, people are asking about it. I'm bringing it up because I've seen people asking these questions online, and that is my opinion about it. But I would love to see a real fusion of like Ukrainian culture with British culture. I think that would be so lovely to have these like two cultures coming together, and like they can kind of like making fun of each other, but also kind of like loving each other as well, and having the mix of the two. Yeah, well, I think it could actually be a really nice moment if it was hosted in Germany or the UK. I think the UK would be really nice, and I also think it would be a good boost for the UK because they've had such a good result this year, and I feel like there's going to be more positivity. I think hosting and getting would be even more positive and get the public more involved. Because keep in mind, even though the UK suck at Eurovision have really low results, they also have pretty much always have the highest viewing figures as well. Like, they really do love it. Okay, so that's all the things I think about Ukraine winning Eurovision 2022. You can leave a comment. I'm not gonna look, as long as you're saying your opinion in a respectful way, I will leave it. I'm not going to edit out comments unless you're being like absolutely and utterly vitriolically negative. I will delete your comment. But generally, I will leave the comments untouched, as I pretty much always do. But yeah, try to say something nice and productive. Just think, like, does your comment actually achieve anything? Is there any point in bitching and moaning about it being about this big televote score? I don't think it achieves anything. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye. Blah, 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 blah. This is my Ukraine win reaction video. Oh my god, the drama. Drama that will be in the comments section. It's going to be a full-time job moderating in the comments.